okay?
Thank you. Thank you. If I get lost, that's...
This is a view of the light, a fire burning through the night. We rise, we shine, we take the fight. A view of the
I'm lighting the sage. Yeah, woo woo. I was listening to the song and got a little too involved, y'all. But here we go with the sage today is so special. There. Let that come around. Take some of this. Spread it all around you. We're creating a sacred space today because today is part 1 of The Voice of the Goddess Unleashed 2026. It's our 3rd annual presentation, and I am so excited what's come forward this year, you guys. I am beside myself, okay? The information, the nurturing, all that's coming through, it is way more than special. And so I hope that everyone gets to go through all 4 parts. Each part stands on their own and together makes something so beautiful. And this is why you'll see between the days of Earth Day and Mother's Day, actually we're going past Mother's Day because I had to extend it, but Earth Day is the 22nd. So we're kind of starting now. And who better than to start an Earth Day this year than our friend Keira Lani of Tree Gong, right? You know what I mean? That made sense. And so even this morning, we're having lovely conversations with Keira about communication with trees, and Teresa Clan was having some too. And good things are happening and exciting things. So Keira, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. I am so grateful to be here with all of you and to meet my dear soul sister Teresa Clan for the first time. Oh my gosh. Yay! It's been too long since I've gotten to hang out here with the Spirit Sessions gals. So thank you so much for having me. And it is such an honor to kick off this conversation around what the divine feminine needs to speak through us. I know I filled out a questionnaire a while ago and we have some talking points, and so much has been coming through just since yesterday as I've been just dropping in and preparing, and it just feels like such a powerful opportunity that we're in right now to really claim our power as women and fully take the reins of this fire horse year and make the real changes in the world. You know, we cannot depend on our patriarchal governments and religious bodies to do this for us. And it's like really time, you know, I'm feeling so passionate about it. Yeah.
It's time. I fully agree.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
I'm wondering, is that tied into what we see there under your name on the screen? Echo Empire Architect.
Yes. I have just claimed a new title that I almost put my old title of Tree Gong Healer on here because I haven't thrown that one out by any means, but I have just claimed a new title, Eco Empire Architect, because I believe that women need to be fully resourced in order to have our world survive, you know, to even survive what our world is going through right now. Women need to be resourced. And I just looked this up and I was shocked and appalled. This is in the United States. I live in the United States. We're a little North American convergence here with the US and Canada, right? But I know this is not so different around the world. But I looked up the statistics here in the US, and women 45 to 60 on average have about $6,000 towards their retirement. And how are we going to actually make a real difference in the world if, I mean, how long does $6,000 last? For me, that's not going to last very long just to like base survival it, right? A few months at the absolute most if we're super frugal. And I'm here to make some real difference in the world. I'm here to serve a lot of people. I'm here to actually bring women up into a place where we can have sanctuaries, where we can gather, where we can have sustainable homesteads for our families, where we can live off of the land, have something that's better. And so yeah, I'm really passionate right now about building something regenerative in both health and financial wealth, because our health is our true wealth. And it only goes so far when we're just barely paying our bills and surviving. And so that's why I'm claiming that I'm here to build an eco empire, and I'm here to do that in sisterhood as women. It was coming through really strongly this morning that the goddess, the divine feminine, yes, it's about receiving and opening your heart and being available and allowing the masculine to come through you and all of these beautiful things. And I was thinking of the goddess Kali, who and in the story of Kali, I always forget the name of the demon slayer that she worked alongside with, but the masculine demon slayer slayed the demons, but they were just coming back more and more and more. The more he slayed them, the more of them, he chopped their heads off, and everywhere a drop of blood fell on the earth, a new demon was springing up. And this is what we're seeing in our world, like literally right now. And Kali extended her tongue and licked up each drop of blood and transmuted that demonic energy. And I really feel like that's what we have to do as women right now. And it ain't easy, sisters. It is not something that we can just like flow through and just let happen. We actually have to really claim that power. It lives in each one of us as women. And to really claim that is what the divine feminine has to do right now. I'm like getting full body chills and like heat moving through my body because I'm calling that in so strongly right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of my recent teachers was sharing that things like religion, structure, organizations come from the limbic mammalian brain, like Neanderthal brain, and we need that structure, right? However, the energy is more of the divine feminine. If we created a list, that's more of the neocortex that truly is higher functioning, like looking at what's best for the collective, not me first.
Yeah.
But what's best for the collective, which for me is a hallmark of sacred sisterhood.
100%, Teresa. Thank you for that. I absolutely agree. And, you know, our Judeo-Christian religion that has colonized much of the world has roots in goddess traditions. This is what most people don't realize who are following the Christian faith, is the roots are actually in, and even the Jewish peoples, many of them don't know that their roots are actually in goddess traditions. And all of our ancestors were tribal peoples led by grandmothers circling around the fires who were talking about what's best for the tribe and making sure that everybody had a place that fulfilled their unique way of working with the world. And it was never meant to be like the role of the woman was never meant to be beneath the man, the way that our traditions became in all of our lifetimes, right? And it's really about reclaiming that. And I really feel that like never before. Like the rise of feminism was so much about women being equal to men, women being able to do all the things that men do. And that's not really what divine femininity is about. It's about us really taking our divinely appointed place as leaders in our communities and as leaders who are stepping into like, what have I been hiding from myself? What have I been not wanting to actually look at that's getting in the way of me actually standing in my power? Because we can say, oh, this is what I want to look like, but am I actually walking the talk? And so I've been getting really real with myself too. Like, where have I been avoiding taking responsibility in my life? And where can I really lead by example so that others can take that their own mantle up, because we're all needed, each and every one of us, in our power right now.
Absolutely.
I love, and this brings us to the first of our questions. All of this is leading up, and so it's already filtering through you naturally, Keira. So when you think of unleashing the voice of the divine feminine, what comes up for you, and how has this shaped your work? And I think that's some of what you've been showing us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we titled this show around bringing through your creative power, and this is really what the divine feminine is, right? And in the first tradition that I really dropped into as a young person was the Vedic traditions of East India and yoga.
Oh, yeah.
And in that tradition, the feminine is the entirety of the physical manifestation. The masculine energy is the pure light of consciousness that just is. And the feminine, the Shakti, moves through that into creating the reality. And for us as women to fully embody our divine feminine, we need freedom of expression. We need creativity. And at this time when so much is being influenced by the uprising of AI technologies, it's even more important for us to claim what makes us truly human at this time. And that is our own artistic expression. And if you are watching this and you don't think you're an artist, that just means you haven't allowed yourself to fully express, whether that is through painting or writing, drawing, things that we normally think of as the arts, or coloring, dancing, yes. Or speaking your truth, conversations, having like real face-to-face conversations with other people where we challenge each other's ideas and learn from each other. I feel like that is a really important place to claim our humanity, claim our creativity, finding solutions. That's creative, getting resourceful and finding solutions in your life. We all have to depend on our creativity. And so the more we can reawaken our imagination, which connecting to the forests, like Teresa and I were talking about our shared experiences, different and similar, of communicating with the trees. And I have found that so often we're looking for things to look a certain way. Like if you say, what is your creative expression? And someone says, oh, well, I'm no good at art. I'm not very creative. I just do my life. And then when you dig in there, you're going to find that we all have our zones of genius. And I don't care if the school system made you think you aren't smart, if you're, if you've been in a job that hasn't really lit you up and you feel like you're in a drudgery zone, you just aren't utilizing your zone of genius. And to me, this is what is needed again. And it's not just about being the highest version of yourself. It's actually about survival. I really believe that creative expression is a basic human need, not something that we should put after we take care of all of our basic things, and what I've found, like when I am in full survival mode and I'm feeling like my creativity is shut down, or it's all going towards that like solution oriented, what's the next step? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Just opening up to a free form expression, like taking a walk in the woods and letting the music of my soul come through. I love walking around and singing wordless tunes and just like allowing myself to be with that childlike nature that shows up when you're in nature. This is so important for our survival as a species, I believe.
Oh my gosh, I'm just getting so excited listening to you talk and reminding us there's so many different forms of creativity. Creating a beautiful meal or even a quick meal, that's creative, right? Everything is creative. Everything is creating beauty, whatever version that happens to be, if it's Callie with her tongue stuck out or Callie inside her root of her core, that precious, very almost Kuan Yin feeling energy that's there, right? Everything is creative. We can't not create. Breathing is creative, right? And again, we're talking about, the divine feminine and divine masculine, and with women coming into power, who were our role models but men. So even right off the get-go, we got a little off track with that, and just recognizing that the feminine flow between everything. Science knows, like, for every particle there is, I mean, how much space is within that? There's a lot more empty space than filled space, at least in our universe here, too, right? So, anyways, I can go on and on, but I don't want to.
I love that you brought that all of that in, Teresa, and Kuan Yin, and then I'm thinking also of Sarasvati, the wisdom goddess that plays music, and how magical and mystical is it to really claim that we get to embody all of these energies in our dedication to this divine feminine energy, that we get to be the one who stays in her center when the world is in chaos and hold the space for a peaceful resolution to the conflicts, while also transmuting the demonic energies through our magical vessel. We have the capacity to plant a seed of a human being inside of our body and grow that into an independent human. And that same energy of birthing is available to us for our most potent creative works. And yes, even creating a nourishing meal, choosing to take the time to sit with a simple meal and acknowledge all of the energy that is there, that is the energy of potential, that when we take it into our bodies, it transmutes into energy, pure life force energy that we can use to move these miraculous bodies. And yeah, I could go on and on too. I love I love how we're bouncing stuff off of each other. It's so beautiful.
So this really, with all the awareness that's here, all the beautiful energy that's coming through, this brings us to the next question, which of course we're already bleeding into. But looking at 2026, what is awakening in the divine feminine right now for us? And it doesn't just have to be regional. It could be all over. What is really awakening for us? What are our next steps from what you see?
Mm-hmm. You know what I've been loving that I've been seeing in the collective is a call for matriarchies. And that there are women all around the world who are reaching out their branches. And we were talking earlier about how the trees have their physical mycelial network where they connect through their roots and share nutrients and DNA, and not just within a single species, but within a forest ecosystem. And then there's the energetic mycelial network that the trees also hold around the entire world. And so this is really how I see us as women really changing the world. And so this is really important, that especially in this age of technology, that we connect physically in our micro communities where we are physically. And this is something, having had an online business since 2018, this is something I'm really calling myself to, that I haven't necessarily been doing as much as I would like to be, to really connect directly with the physical people that are near me in geographical location, and create that strong physical mycelial network so that we're nourished in that space. We get our physical hugs, we get our physical touch, which is so important for our physical body to thrive in this life. And then we also reach out our energetic networks, because we are one family around the entire world. And I really think that's what the feminine uprising really is about, is connection and community, and that feeling of being in global family, that feeling of being all one and united in purpose. And for me, that purpose is to honor humanity as stewards of the earth, of caretakers of the life that springs from the earth, and nourishers, and those who are able to hold an expanding field through standing in their truth. And this is really what I see is already happening.
Yeah.
And each one of us has a contribution to make. And so I'm really inviting anyone and everyone who's listening today to just reflect on, where could I contribute more? What is my genius zone in this bigger picture that Keira is talking about? Yay, Krista, sister. So good to see you here. Yes, the transcendent soul love family.
So in your experience then, what is it that's, okay, we know, we feel that community need. We always have. It's right. What is it that really makes a community safe in this day and age for us?
Oh, wow, that is a really good question. And the first thing that pops into my mind is honesty. And this kind of comes back to my theme of freedom of expression being an actual human need. And this is one of the places where it's really important that we allow ourselves to be honest with each other and honest with ourselves, and ask for what we need. This is something that is really challenging for the conditioned woman versus the fully expressed woman, we tend, and this has been me, I'm still working through this one, we tend to say what we think other people want to hear instead of what they actually need to hear for us to be understood. And then we wonder why we're feeling misunderstood. And like I said, I'm talking about myself here. So if you resonate with that,
I do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely not pointing any fingers outside of myself. I'm just recognizing that we have a shared experience here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is exciting though, isn't it?
It is. It's so exciting. And I have noticed, you know, and I'm a mother of sons. And I have noticed that the men need this from us so badly that we are willing to ask for what we need clearly and able to take no for an answer is one of the things we have to be able to do to be able to fully ask for what we need, or able to, you know, shift so that it encompasses everyone's needs, because that's what we naturally do as women anyways. That's why, like, I don't have any fear that we're going to suddenly become people who are just grabbing. You know, I've had a lot of women say, oh, but I don't want to ask for too much because I might feel greedy. I don't want to feel greedy. And I'm just telling you, sister, it's not about that. You're not going to become greedy just because you ask for enough, for more than enough for your basic needs. And because more than enough for your basic needs as a woman means that you can actually take care of all those other people that you always think of, that you can actually help people when things happen in their life that are outside of their control, that you actually are resourced to show up at this higher level
because we've been indoctrinated into the culture of lack.
Yeah.
And there's not lack. There's more than enough for everybody. And asking for what we need doesn't mean it takes away from somebody else. And we feel that when we ask, we're taking it away from somebody else. And that's that indoctrinated thing of lack, that we don't ask for what we need because the patriarchy doesn't want us to have enough, because if we do, then we can share in the power more fully.
I love the patriotic patriarchy. My local friend here pointed out to me that the word patriot has the word riot inside of
it. Yeah, that it does.
And they're not talking about a riot of color.
And I totally agree with you, Rhonda. At some points in my life, I've internalized that scarcity or lack mentality. And then, of course, it becomes a perpetual motion machine. And then I was inviting more and more in. And then before you know it, I was encased like in dust bunnies of not being good enough or not worthy. And sure, I could maybe create something, but, then I externalize my validation. Well, but then what would I do with it? Meaning that just the creative process wasn't enough somehow. And it had to be something that hung somewhere or sold for $1 value, or I needed my friends to gush over it, as compared to being really dialed in and honoring my divine feminine. And it's okay to color outside of the lines. That's perfect too. Right?
Yes, I love that. I love that, Teresa.
Yeah.
And you were making me think of something else, and then I lost it with the coloring outside the lines. That is so funny. But the lack mentality, that's what you ladies were talking about. And one thing that really helped me to shift out of that was to actually sit down and say, okay, how much would I actually need, just dollar value, to do all the things that I want to do? And I sat down and I wrote down, of course, there are things that I want for myself to be comfortable, to just have an easier life, and, to be closer to the ocean, and to be able to go out and adventure whenever I want. But then the things that I found on my list that really got me motivated were things like, I want to know that my mom is taken care of for the rest of her life, no matter what happens. I want to be able to know that I can help my kids if something happens in their life. I want to create a foundation where I can help the really underprivileged women that don't see a way out of their circumstances, and not be limited to helping people who are already resourced. And when I wrote all these things down, I was like, yeah, I need a significant amount of money. And need is not a euphemism, because I'm the kind of woman who's going to do all of these things that I'm talking about. And I know that the money is showing up because I'm going to do these things. And so when you choose that path for yourself, when you take the time to sit with yourself and say, okay, what would I actually do with $1 million? And I'm just throwing $1 million because that's such a common number to grab at, right? And it's a different number for everyone. That's why I recommend actually making your list of your big vision of what would your life look like with absolutely no limits. And then you can say, oh, how much would this cost approximately, and make it per month or per year, depending, and then figure out, oh, this is actually how much money I need to make in order to live my true soul purpose, because those things that are on your heart are there for a reason, because that's what your soul came in to do with this life. And those constructs of, not being worthy and not enough to go around, or I'm going to be taking from someone else. If I have more, it's going to take away from someone else. Those are constructs that were actually thought out by someone really smart who wanted to keep us underneath that cap, so that we're in somebody else's control and not actually taking. Those are the greedy people. We're not the greedy people. We're the ones who are needed to be fully resourced. So yeah, that's really like my soapbox today, I guess.
Yeah, yay.
Yeah, I love that. Such good discussions today. I almost feel I wish we could discuss these things all the time, not once a year, but I know we can. Okay, it's just so much excitement. I wanted to ask you the last question, not meaning it's at the end. There's still a great conversation, but the last question that I'm asking all the speakers is, okay, you've already told us about the great practice of making this list. Okay, I love that. What other practice or perspective do you recommend to help people embody their voice of the divine feminine in everyday life, but especially if they've been suppressed? Here we are bringing it forward now.
Yeah. So I kind of said this already. My first and foremost is get yourself outside, out of your box that you might be in, whatever that looks like for you, and connect to nature, connect to trees, connect to that energetic mycelial network, connect to your community. All of these things are so important. And I'm a writer, so I love writing and journaling. Not everybody loves it, but I do feel like it is a valuable practice for everybody to spend a period of time in your life of writing a page or 3 pages every single day, and just letting it be, not worrying about what comes out, but just letting it be an exercise of, I'm getting myself, I'm like bringing what's in here, what's floating around my mental field, and I'm just bringing it out onto the paper, whether it's to get it out of your system, or it's to get your thoughts organized, or to just reflect with yourself. It gets this creative flow happening when you take some time with yourself in this way. And so that is definitely a recommended practice, especially in times when you're feeling the confusion or the overwhelm. There's so many different things to do in life. And I know I tend to be a yes woman. I say yes to everything. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this and this and this and this. Which of these balls am I going to drop? Okay, that one's going to lay there for a while. Maybe I'll pick it up again later. Who knows? And so I feel like that's important too, to give yourself permission to put down one of your balls if it's not bringing you joy, to not feel like you have to do something just because you have done it in the past. And then when you choose your no, it actually opens up your yes. And so then you can be like, oh, well, this is the thing that I've been putting aside. And this is the thing that I keep saying that I want to do, but not actually doing. And now I can choose that because I chose to lay down this thing that wasn't really bringing me joy. And, and sometimes that thing is actually our livelihood. And it is okay to pivot even in the second half of your life and choose something different. And this really opens up a whole magical portal when we do. And it can be really scary too, to say, oh my gosh, I've been doing this. And, if anyone out there is receiving this and saying, oh my gosh, that's me. I've been doing this thing for decades just because I think I'm supposed to, and it hasn't brought me joy in I don't know how long. And how do I even let it go? Because it's so much a part of my identity now. And yeah, if that's you, it would be a joy to offer you a short one-to-one session. I wasn't planning on offering this here, but it just popped in. If you're in a space where you're like, oh my gosh, I really feel what she's saying and I don't know how to navigate that, I do have more tools than I can share here in this space. And it would be a gift and an honor to me to offer some one-to-one connection time to reflect back to you, maybe resources that you hadn't really recognized that are right there in your field already to help you, and just to transmute. Because I am truly an alchemist. That's the other title that I could have put on here that I'm really owning. I am truly here to alchemize what is feeling like a burden, the emotional traumas, and all of what we face as women in this life into a full, authentic expression of who you truly are. So
I love that. The sessions with you are so special. And I want everybody to know that, because you're not using like cookie cutter. Oh, next. You sit there and you listen. And Keira blew me away one day. One day, one of many days. Keira blew me away. And you might remember this, maybe not, but we were talking before a class where we were doing Qigong and stuff. And then you always took a minute, when you would listen to us. And then lo and behold, you would add it into the class. It's like, wow, how perfect. You know what I mean? And so we were all getting out of it. But that day I had made a joke, my back was, out of alignment and hurt. And I go, what? Like we're going to do Qigong and get our back in alignment? Well, guess what, you guys? Guess what happened? She sat there and we were doing breathing exercises and stuff and getting it in alignment from the bottom going up. It was like, oh my God, it really works. So I love that personal attention and bringing things through that to blow me away like that. I dig it.
Wow.
Oh, I love that, Teresa. And yes, it was such a gift to me that I've gotten to work with T-dubs in a few different ways over our time together. And that was pretty early on in our connection that we got to do that. And yay for Qigong. It's funny that you say that, because as you were saying, what, we're going to do that with Qigong? And I'm like, well, that's what Qigong was made for. and the power of the breath. So this is another thing I'd love to invite you all into, in terms of what can I do in my mundane life to reconnect to this wisdom that came through on this beautiful Spirit Sessions call. And it's to connect with your breath, because the breath is the primary nutrient of life. It's the only thing that we can't live without for more than a few minutes. Mm-hmm. And it's not only the only, and it's also the only action in our body that we have both autonomic control. It will happen whether you try or not, as long as you're alive. But we also can physically affect it. So this makes it the most powerful technology available to you as a human to balance your nervous system, to connect with your bigger vision, to heal physically, emotionally, and spiritually all at once, because it does. It's in Vedic philosophy, it's the penetrating body. It's the one that goes through all the layers of our being. In Qigong, it is said that the Qi, the energy, follows the breath and follows the mind. And so when we link together the breath, the movement, and the mind, we can pretty much do everything. And so I just want to invite everyone just to take a deeper breath with me. And this is like the simplest practice. Take a deeper breath every time you think of it throughout the day. And as you release that breath, just let your whole body settle onto the support of the breath, remembering that this is here for you. This is integrally designed in your human nature to have access to use the breath, to become the multidimensional magical being, to experience yourself as, I should say, the multidimensional magical being that you already are. It's not about becoming so much as remembering and knowing and recognizing and being able to feel it. And that's another magical gift that I feel Qigong gave me, is this awakening of subtle awareness. I really love using the breath and the movement and just connecting to the magic. And so, yes, Qigong is still one of my primary modalities, and breath work, which I feel like are one and the same, although not every breath work is coming to me through Qigong. At the same time, the word Qigong means working with energy. And so it basically can encompass every way that you know how, whether it came through China or not.
Right.
And I've heard it suggested that the breath provides the interconnection between, say, spirit and matter, between the macrocosm and the microcosm, between our emotions, thoughts, and feelings, as a container, as a Teresa avatar, and more of a soul Teresa, aspect of myself. So this is a living, dynamic field that we're engaging in, especially with conscious breath work that you just reminded us of, how precious and sacred that is.
Yes, absolutely. And I really do feel like breath work is the quickest way into these places that Teresa just described, and into really claiming the way that you can move through the world to make a difference, to connect to that divine feminine nature within you, and then bring it into actions that you can touch with your hands, and to reclaim your creative expression, and all of the things that we as all of the things that make us humans are more easily accessible when we work with the breath. And so it can be just as simple as, like I said, take a deeper breath now and then throughout your day. Notice how you can breathe into your tense muscles and let that tension go. And it can be really detailed and focused, and that's a lot of what I do in my one-to-one sessions. Is like T-Dubs talked about, I will take whatever you are coming in with and intuit what is the practice. It's likely to include breath work and or movement and other things as well, because I've been gathering these tools for my entire life, and it's just such a gift and a blessing to have had this awareness as a child that these are the things I need to learn about, because now I can really utilize them in a way that serves the greater good, and that's so important to me.
So Keira, we're getting to the end of the show, but where can we find you and find all your wonderful tools? And have you got anything special coming up? And I know all the links to you are in the video, but have you got some special links? I know you said you were going to add maybe your newsletter link in the comments, but what else is going on, and where can people find you? Where's your favorite place?
Okay, I got very distracted for a minute.
Sorry. Where can people find you? Sorry. Where can people find you?
People can find me on all the social media. You can see my name here on the screen, Keira Lani. It is KeiraLani.TreeGong on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. And I have a KeiraLani.TreeGong. My main profile is just Keira Lani on Facebook. So you can find me all of those places, and I will see if I can drop this link to I found my old I might have to come back in, because
yeah, come back in and drop it. That's fine. Sorry.
I may find I will definitely drop my link in the comments when I come back and find it, because
for your newsletter,
for my newsletter.
Your guest links are in the description, so that's not
okay. My guest links are in the description already that I described, and I will drop a link to. I found my what's it called? It's a little tiny ebook. It's a little tiny ebook. Yeah, my opt-in link for my newsletter comes with the 4 secrets to unleash your inner healer. And so this I created a while back, and so you'll get to see some of my favorite long-standing tools that I use, and then you'll also get to plug into my newsletter, and then you can follow along with what I'm bringing through and read some of my writing. I really feel that one of my greatest gifts does come through writing and speaking, and so I try to really bring through some in-depth thoughts through my newsletter when it comes through.
Ooh,
very nice.
I love that.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. I'm just so grateful that you're inviting us to embrace our own divine feminine and creativity, which ultimately brings more spiritual practices into our lives. And that is a forward feedback, is when we embrace more spiritual practices, whether it's breath work, meditation, lighting a candle, ritual ceremony, that also informs and creates the divine feminine, regardless if we have a physical womb or not. So beautiful.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you for your gifts.
And everyone, if you think we're done with Keira Lani right now because we're at the end of the show, I want to tell you we are not at the end. Something really special is happening. We have created such a sacred space for a beautiful after party at the end of this whole series on May 17th, 19th,
Yep. 17th. Yeah.
17th. There, yeah. I got to put my glasses back on when I read my notes. But and it's, you're all invited, but right now you need to message me to get on the list because we're making a link this Tuesday for it to be there. Now, what this is, there's like a beautiful olive grove overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. It's a place to meet with the goddesses and to integrate what we've learned here. And so the sacred space we're calling the temple. Okay, I wrote that down too. Oh, the temple of her voice. This is what this place is called, the Temple of Her Voice. And we are all going to meet together with every single one of the guests, including Keira Lani, and we're going to be able to talk to them and integrate this a little bit further to boost us on. And so, yeah, get on the list, message me, and we'll get on the list and we'll get that link out there. So
and Teresa's link is in the guest in the video description as well. It's Teresa Warren at gmail.com.
And next week, we continue this. Today, we started part 1 with Keira. We continue with part 2 with Dr. Amber Meliha Wolf, which would then, like, if this is the maiden show, that would be the mother show, right? And then the next one would be the priestess. And then what do we call the crown? What do you guys call it? The crowned one?
Crowned one.
Yeah, the crowned one at the end. Instead of crown, we're going with crowned one. So
I love that.
Yeah, that's all Rhonda.
So next week we have the mother coming through, Amber Meliha Wolf, who back in Lemuria, she was one of the last Lemurian priestesses there to teach us. And she walks with the star mothers, and she's bringing through information from these Pleiadian star mothers because they taught us so much. It's in our DNA. If you went through Lemuria, it's in your DNA. So much more about the divine feminine. And so it's going to be so exciting to hear this historic stuff and to be there. The energies. Woo woo!
Woo-hoo. Go hug a tree, everyone.
Yeah. That is so exciting. And I actually, last year, I turned 4 13s. And I told my sons, I want to be crowned for Mother's Day.
Oh,
and so I still have the crown that my son made for me for last Mother's Day.
That's beautiful.
Just a year ago.
It's so perfect. I love it.
I know. It dried really nicely. And he just went outside and pulled things from right here. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
so you have to wear that to the after party.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I will wear it to the after party. I know this is the first time I've put it on in a while. I wore it a bunch last year because I was like, yay, I got what I asked for. And that's what I was saying earlier. I said, I have a desire to be crowned for Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went to my oldest sons, and my youngest son managed to go and make it in secret. So it was a surprise. It was very nice.
Oh, how precious. How precious. Oh my gosh. That kind of stuff just makes my heart sing. So yeah.
And we all have those stages that T-Dubs is bringing to you. We all have all of them in us, regardless of what your age is.
Yes.
Whether you're still in your maiden stage or you're in your crowned royal queen stage, you have all of those within you as a woman, or even as a human, like Teresa said, whether you actually have a physical womb or not, you have this energy of the divine feminine is available to you to connect with and bring through your most authentic expression into this world.
Happy sigh.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone.
This was good and fulfilling, wasn't it? I love it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so we'll say goodbye, and we will see you next week. Please don't forget to go to our YouTube channel. Check to see that you have subscribed. If you have not subscribed, the best thing you can do to support us is subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe. It costs nothing. It's free. You have total access to all our shows from the last 9 years there. It's all free. It's all commercial free for now. Sometimes they stick commercials in. I didn't give them.
Oh, wow.
But please go and do that. That would really help us out. And we really appreciate everyone being here today. And thank you so much, Keira, again. And lovely to see you again. And thanks, Teresa. And Teresa, love you all.
And Rhonda, we love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
This is a view of the light.